Loading 8x57 JR for a drilling. William Hovey Smith, 2024. This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And once more, we are investigating some aspects of the drilling. That is the German and European three-barreled gun. This particular gun has 16-gauge shotgun barrels and an 8x57 JR rifle barrel. And what we're going to talk about today is what do you do if you own such a gun? Well, at the time I bought the gun, Norma Ammunition was importing 8x57 rimmed JR cartridges. And I bought a box. Well, I have 3 left. Looking at current catalogs from the companies I have access to, I find ammunition available for the JRS, which uses a different bullet size, but not for the older JR. And we'll get into that in a little bit. When I bought this gun, I was a college student. And there was a pawn shop in Athens, Georgia that had a very active gun market. And the walls of that shop were literally lined with guns. A lot of them were old shotguns, old black powder guns. But he did get in this drilling. And originally, it had a much thinner buttstock and fore-end than this. More about that one later. But the gun was available and I looked at it. By that time, I'd become friends with a guy and I'd handled a lot of double-barrel shotguns. But most of the old ones he had around his store, mostly for decoration. And yeah, I got a good feeling for what a good fitting shotgun ought to feel like. And when I opened and closed this one, it was like a bank vault. It was absolutely solid. As is seen in a previous video, there are 3 locking surfaces on this gun. Most American guns have 1 or maybe 2. This has 3. And anyway, it locked up tight. It was chambered for the 16 gauge. Well, I shoot 16 gauge. And 16 gauges at the time, and this being in the 1960s, were still fairly commonly used in the Southeast. And I had bought and owned some by that time. And I was also thinking about reloading shot shells, although I wasn't quite into that yet. I was to get into it later. The rifle barrel, though, 8x57 rimmed. All right. It's the 8mm service cartridge from the German Army that was adopted 20 years before the 30-06 was adopted by the U.S. And by that time, I had bought this book, Cartridges of the World. So, we could look it up and see what it said about it. And here's what it says. This is a rimmed version of the 8x57 German military round for use in single shot and combination guns. Introduced in 1888 with the .318 bullet, it was adapted in 1905 to the larger S-type or .323 diameter bullet, corresponding to a similar change in the military round. It is popular in Europe and listed in the latest DWM, RWS, and Norma catalogs. It is little used in the U.S. except in a few imported combination guns. The 8x57 JRS gives the same performance as the 8mm Mauser, famous for most American shooters. It is about the same class as the 30-06 and so on. Now, a caution here. Be sure you use the proper bullet diameter for your particular gun. RWS cartridges for the 323 or S caliber have a blackened primer and a chandlered bullet. All brands are clearly marked on the box if you will take the trouble to read the label. The S caliber is available in heavier loadings and higher velocities than the .318 caliber. So, wow. Two different bullets are loaded in very similar cartridge cases. So, what I have here is the 8mm JR. And the 8mm JR uses a .318 diameter bullet, not the .323 bullet for the whole world of 8mm Mausers. Millions of them. By cartridge distribution, the number of guns capable of shooting the larger cartridge outnumber the old 318s thousands or tens of thousands to one. If I'm to shoot this gun, I've got to have the right diameter bullets. Support this channel by buying my outdoor books, business books, novels, and recommending them to your local libraries. I have quite a few books, as you can see. Among my outdoor books are Backyard Deer Hunting, which is a basic primer on deer hunting and also covers hunting other small and big game. Crossbow Hunting, which remains the best book on the subject ever done. Buying Used Muzzleloading Guns. My novel, Until Death Do You Part, An American Family Meets Their Sicilian Cousins. And most recently, The Gold Farm Chronicles, Moving with Baby, The Solitario, and Brewster County Law. At that time, in the 60s and 70s, Norma was making more of an impression in the American market. And they were importing a variety of European things, including bullets. And these are 8mm .318 diameter. Round nose. A bottle box. Got 100 of them. Just as insurance. So, we know the right bullet size and we have the right bullets. Since I haven't really worked with this gun for almost a half century now, we had to look for loads. And yes, we went online like almost anybody would do, and we found a Norma table. And with a certain powder and 192 grain bullets, they gave a load. However, this was the JRS diameter slug and the JRS cartridge. They listed no loads for the JR per se. I went and looked in the Lyman handbook here. And they list loads for the 8mm Mauser, but none for the rimmed cartridge and none for the JR. So we went to Hornaday here. Again, they listed loads, but none specifically for the rimmed cartridge with this diameter bullet. Dug way back, the old Lyman Reloading Handbook. And what did we find for 8mm cartridges? 8mm Mauser. And we find some cast bullet loads, but nothing specific for this cartridge. we picked up the Norma loading manual. Now this is a period manual, and it was got and gathered at about the same time as the rest. And lo and behold, we do find a load for the 8x57JR with 196 soft point round nose bullet, the rest. And lo and behold, we do find a load for the 8x57JR with 196 soft point round nose bullet, 196 grain soft point round nose bullet right here, and it lists a 203 powder. 203 powder is a specialized Norma powder. It has now been replaced. However, at the time, 203 powder. I bought a can. So we have powder, bullets, and cases. Brand new, unprimed brass. So we got the whole package. All we needed now was a tool to load it with. One thing that interested me about the drilling is, as an itinerant geologist, I could expect to go from job to job in different parts of the country and different parts of the world. And I really did. And I needed to have a way to reload these very rare and scarce cartridges. So what we have here is a W.H. English pack tool and components for the 8x57JR. In our next episode, we'll actually take this pack tool and reload with it. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe, goodbye, God bless, and see you next time.